Hi Peter, very good to meet you here in my own country, even in Cần Thơ, the Mekong, very nice. Okay?
It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so I want to have this talk with you, and I want to remind that in 2014, so 11 years ago exactly, you hosted me in the university in Wagga Wagga. But you told me that you say only once Wagga, not twice.
No, you always say twice because there is more than one crow in Wagga.
Oh, really?
Wagga
Okay.
Wagga is the plural.
Okay, so just in university at that time you hosted me because I got a John Dillon Fellowship funded by ACIAR. And that fellowship was excellent, very nice. It helped people at middle career to grow in agriculture research. And I have to say that I'm very much grateful to Australia and to ACIAR for giving me that opportunity, which has been very useful for my work since. And 11 years after I met you here in my own country, and you retire already, but you are not tired. You continue working a lot.
Well, I'm doing a little bit, and look, John Dillon's all about learning about communication effectively, and because communication is really one of the major challenges of agriculture, and particularly when you're working with smallholder farmers.
Yes, so no, that was about leadership, research management, also communication, and coming to meet with people like you and your team to understand how it works, etc. But that was very nice. Thank you very much. So Peter, can you please tell me a bit about you, your career, and what have been doing until now in this with a lot of passions?
Oh heavens! Oh no, I'm a graduate in rural science from the University of New England in Armidale, Australia, and then I went on to do a PhD with Professor Frank Anderson at Sydney University, looking at how hormones control wool growth in sheep. So I became very interested in sheep, and after a postdoc period at the National Institute of Health in Bethesda, Maryland, studying stress in animals.
So Maryland in the US?
Yeah, USA.
Oh, so you went to the USA?
Yeah, I went to the USA, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Australian Wool Corporation paid for me to go there and work, and I worked for NIH for a little while as well, and then came back to CSIRO and looked at various aspects of animal production, mostly growth in livestock and ruminant species, and growth of wool, of course, in wool fibre being a major commercial outcome of the merino sheep industry in Australia. And then I went on to teach at Sydney University and research in sheep and a lot in pigs and dairy, and then on to Charles Sturt University. And as I was leaving Sydney University, ACIAR approached me to see if I'd be interested in managing a smallholder farmer dairy program in Pakistan, which of course I was very elated to have that opportunity. Yeah. And here I am today, still working with smallholder farmers even in retirement.
Yeah. So are you a vet or are you animal scientist?
No, animal scientist.
Animal scientist. No, I remember that when I was with you and David McGill.
That's right.
At that university, I met also people from Cần Thơ.
Yep.
Who did their PhD there. So have you had any collaboration with Vietnam apart from Pakistan?
No, not really, no collaborations whatsoever, other than coming to scientific meetings, both in Hanoi and now here. So we have done a little bit of tourism here as well with the last meeting that we came.
Yeah, okay. So you said you work for the University of Sydney University, Charleston University, CSIRO, but also Maryland as a postdoc.
Yes.
So your career have been very much around these countries, but to what extent the research topic have been you have done a lot of international work, or most of the work was in Australia?
Oh well, most of it's been in Australia. I mean, I have done some work in Malaysia with one of our PhD students from Sydney University, who went back to Malaysia and started a program there, and I went over and assisted them in developing that program. So, but no, I'd always wanted to have an opportunity to work in developing countries. I did head a mission to China. Australia was not very good at training Chinese farmers use Australian Holstein cattle which were being sold into the Chinese dairy herd. And so I led a mission to train dairy farmers funded by our Australian government to teach farmers how to look after Holstein Friesian cattle using the feed base that they have, which is different to the feed base, of course, that those cattle were used to in Australia. So farmers were receiving these animals and not being taught how to look after them. It's like buying a Rolls-Royce car and then not being told how to use it.
How to maintain and use it.
Yeah, how to maintain and use it. Yeah.
I'm surprised that, because but China is a big country, and I mean, when I went to Australia, I met many Chinese students. So from university or Zo University, do you have a lot of students from China still?
Oh, well, Australia has a lot of students from many countries, including China, but after COVID, our COVID epidemic, the number of international students has fallen away by as much as 90%. So really? Only 10% of the students that we had in 2019 are now present working in Australian universities.
Oh, really? Yeah, when I visited you, I even met some Chinese scientists working for Charles Sturt University at that time. So when did you retire from the university? Well,
they stopped paying me in 2015, but I kept working for them for the next couple of years before my wife decided I needed to move to a better environment for her, and we moved to the coast.
Oh, you moved to the coast?
Yes.
So you are not in the house where you hosted me?
No, that's right. That's gone. Long gone.
Okay, I remember very well that you hosted a very nice barbecue with your colleagues.
Well, you can still come to our house on the coast.
So greeting to your wife. So after retirement, so 10 years ago, so what are the activities now since then?
Well, the ACIAR program in Pakistan continued through from 2015 to 2022, led by David McGill, and they continued the work, and I helped with the publications that were coming out of that project, and and I tried to. I have family members, of course, and my 3 children were living in Hobart and Newcastle in Australia, and also in Cologne in Germany. So we travel to Cologne in Germany quite often to see how.
So you should enjoy. You say you take time to take care of the family because you're less busy now. Okay, now coming back to this conference, we are here because we are attending the Sustainable Animal Agriculture for Development Countries 2025, the 10th version of this conference. I have to admit that that's my first time to attend this conference, so I'm very happy to meet many people working on livestock. And in the room, I see my friend Dr. Cook. She's Deputy Director in Vietnam National Animal Sciences Institute here in Vietnam. So, and I know that you are one of the members of the advisory, International Advisory Committee of this conference.
I am.
Tell me a bit, please, about the history of this series of conference.
All right. Okay. Well, the first meeting was, I think, in 2005 or thereabouts in Kunming in China.
So 20 years ago.
20 years ago. We're up to the 10th now. Sadly, we lost one in 2021 to the COVID problem. And but it's been a series of different from other conferences in that. The idea is to attract young people to the conference, funded partially to attend, to pay for the expenses, as long as they can provide.
And this year we have 86 people or young scientists having that scholarship to come.
There were, yes, and they've been jointly part funded by the Crawford Fund and the Japanese agency JCAS and the Global Hub,
UC Davis,
UC Davis. So, but the aim of the conference is to provide these younger early career scientists up to the age of 40 an opportunity to publish some of their work. I don't say anything against my Pakistani colleagues, but quite often a lot of work is done and none of it's published, and more importantly, the students are not mentored on how to publish their work, how to find the journal, how to prepare or change a thesis into a publication that is readily placed in a journal. Yeah. And so that's what we try to do. So there's a group of about, must be about 24 or 25 on the International Advisory Committee who mentor these students. When they send their draft of a paper in, it's sent out to people like me.
But that is after conference or before conference?
It can be before or after the conference, but papers are due by the end of the year. And then over the next 6 months, even up to 12 months, these papers are adjusted towards this time 2 journals, a Thai veterinary journal and Animal Production Science from Australia. And Professor Wayne Bryden, as editor, is at this conference willing to talk to anyone about how to prepare their papers. So that's the difference. It's not about so much about the most important animal science researchers in the world. It's more about the younger people who are going to be the future generation of animal science researchers, and more importantly, or just as importantly, extension workers getting the message across to farming communities throughout our region.
Okay. Because so this time in Vietnam, we have about 350 people, 200 internationals, 150 Vietnamese. I'm very glad to see 150 Vietnamese coming to this international conference.
Yeah, it's great.
But not only young people, of course, most of them, but I saw so many senior people like you, some professor from the US, and so on. So I think it's a very good idea. So who was the initiator of this conference 20 years ago?
Professor J.B. Leung from Malaysia. It was his idea. Sadly, he's not here this time. He had surgery on his eyes this week, and so he was unable to travel on this occasion. But hopefully he'll be back next time. So, but it was his vision that saw the need to help young people rather than promoting the established careers of more senior scientists as the keynote speakers. So we try to have lots of younger people as keynote speakers at the meeting.
So did Africa already organize this meeting, or it has been mostly in Asia? Because last year it was in Laos, this year in Vietnam.
It does have an Asian focus. We haven't drifted into Africa or other parts of the world because of logistics and most of the expertise here. And if you go, are in this region, and when you go there, for instance, our scholarship winners have to provide their own travel costs. So travelling from, for argument's sake, from Vietnam to, say, Nairobi, Kenya for a meeting is prohibitive.
Yeah, and also it's expensive.
Well, that's right. It's prohibitive cost-wise.
Okay. Okay, so people are coming in recession, so I still have 5 minutes with you because the plenary is still going on. I suppose the coffee is still going on. You gave a very excellent, interesting keynote, plenary keynote yesterday on the vision about how the so-called vertical agriculture actors should work together to achieve the sustainable agriculture in different countries, and you use a lot of examples from Pakistan. I suppose that, as you said, you have a lot of projects there with my friend David, Nguyen, and so on. If you have 1 minute to tell us the take-home message from that talk, what would be?
The 1 minute message is to focus on the large number of smallholder farmers in Pakistan. There are around 9 million smallholder farmers with animals with genetic potential to produce 14, 16 litres of milk a day. They produce 3 to 5, largely because of the feed base and the lack of health facilities. But I think the main message is for people who are working in that environment to work together to achieve common goals, which doesn't happen. The most disappointing thing I found working there was working with our small ACIAR budget, working with USAID and other organisations, large companies with much bigger budgets than us, and they were trying to do the same thing as us, and on occasion I can well remember saying, well, look, the USAID came and said, oh, we're going to do a wonderful survey of this district of how farmers are progressing. And we said, oh, well, look, we've already done that. How about you just take our results before, and just acknowledge that we helped you with them, and you can put that in your publications for USAID. And they said, no, we can't do that because it's in our written document that we have to do it in that area. So they replicated with the same amount of money and came up with the same result. So whereas that money could have been spent elsewhere.
That money is wasted anyway. But USAID is not there anymore. I hope
they're not there anymore, but they'll be back. Don't you worry.
Okay, so that's very nice message. And it caught my attention when you take an example about One Health, how One Health perceived between people and animals on the breastfeeding. Elaborate a little bit that example.
Oh yeah, look, that's just so important. I mean, in terms of providing extension activities in a district, it's so important for people with different expertise to talk to each other. Now look, some people in the world think you can have one extension officer and he will know everything about markets, about health, about everything, and they don't. And soils and irrigation, you've got to have different experts working in a hub, and so that they can communicate together to provide an integrated message for the farmer. Now I'll cite this one example where we went into this village in Sindh, and these calves looked like death warmed up. Really? They were very sick calves, and we said, oh well, look, why don't you feed colostrum to your calf? Because they make sweets out of it and give to their neighbours. And they said, oh no, we don't do that. I said, why not? I said, well, we don't feed our first milk to our own babies. Why should we feed the first milk to the calf? And I thought to myself, okay. So I asked them, why don't they feed their first milk to their own babies? Oh, it gives them a sick stomach. So if we give this colostrum to the calves, they'll get a sick stomach and they won't survive. No understanding of what health is all about. And so human, animals, One Health, it has to come from the same program. So that's where an integrated extension program is just so important, including the irrigation, the agronomy, the seeds, but put human health in there as well.
Yeah, very holistic, and I like this example because One Health is very dear to me. So Peter, I think that I would like to thank you very much for this short but intense talk. And I'm thinking of those students, my friend, Hassan Warish from Pakistan, the horse expert, and now he's in the US. And he's also in the International Advisory Committee with you for this conference.
But he's lecturing in
I will send that video to him, so he knows that we meet each other. And I would like also to congratulate my new friend and my older brother, Dr. Nguyen from Canton University, very good chairman of this 10th version of sustainable animal agriculture in developing countries. The first time in Vietnam, very nice. And actually, I wish you all the best and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much, Hung.
Thank you, Peter.
It's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you. See you very soon.